Good evening, leaders, and I trust you are well. I'll share that video. I'll share the link to that YouTube. You can take some time just to listen through. That was one of our events, one of the summit where we had a graduation, and we had Reverend Oscar as one of our guests. He's one person that is so passionate about leadership, and therefore we normally collaborate quite a lot. If we have some events and we need a facilitator or a speaker just to come and just share some insights, we do invite speakers that we feel are passionate about this topic, and also speakers that we feel will be able to add more value to the team. And therefore, I think I'll just share that so that you can be able to listen at your own time. Otherwise, I trust you're well and you can get me clear on your end. If you can share a text message with me, I'll be glad just to note that we are communicating. Otherwise, it has been a great journey so far. And we're getting actually at a level where there's more stretching again, but a lot of connection. From this point forward, there will be a lot of interaction, especially within the teams. As much as we'll have more speakers, we'll have more topics to cover. Today we're covering topic 10, sorry. And then next week again, we'll cover one more topic. Yeah. So then we'll resume 2 topics as we continue. So you can see 10, if we do 10, that means we'll be remaining with 6 more to go. We'll have cover 1 next week, and then the other week we'll cover 2, and then all the way to the very end. So we are not very far from the end, but we still have quite some work to share. We still have quite a lot to engage with and interact with. So we normally finish at very high peak, just the way we started. But between now, a lot of interaction, which will really be part of the key area of focus from this point forward. Otherwise, are you able to get me well? Maybe someone could just unmute and just confirm. Dennis, you can get me well? Thank you, Susan Wanjiko.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, hearing you well.
Thank you, Susan. I trust you're well.
Yes,
Susan.
I'm okay.
Thank you, Dennis. Sylvia, I noted, I think you had also...
We have a problem. There are no lights.
Okay.
We are in... Yes.
Oh, sorry for that, Sylvia, but I trust we shall manage the session as the best we can.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. I appreciate. I think we are good to go. We're good to go. So far, so good. We'll make a prayer. We'll do a quick recap. Then I'll introduce our speaker tonight, and then we'll move on. So let's just pray, give thanks together for this opportunity that God has accorded us. God, we thank you. We give you glory and honor as we continue with this conversation tonight. Our hearts are open. Our minds are fixed on you, that we might be able to gain the knowledge, and more importantly, practice this knowledge. And we pray that you help us so that we continue to be able to reflect the leadership that brings you glory. Our purpose is to serve the people that you have entrusted to us in the best way possible, and to give you maximum glory. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So we could do a quick recap. Last week was quite a lot to handle. As you can recall, we started with lesson 8, Phases of Leadership. And the challenge for that recap, I'll only request one thing from lesson 8. We just do a recap by unwinding and looking at the 5 phases of leadership based on John C. Maxwell. Those 5 phases and probably what they meant to us, what they meant to you as a person. I know we tried to evaluate ourselves and ask ourselves some questions in terms of where am I in these 5 phases of leadership. So could I post that as a question? One, what were those 5 phases, just to refresh our memory together? And then if you could just give any insights in terms of any of them, what really stood out, and maybe something that you feel you could share with the team here, we'll really appreciate. And then we can move on to the next lesson very briefly, then we invite the speaker. So let's start with lesson 8. The 5 levels, 5 phases of leadership by John C. Maxwell. Any that you can recall? Either on the chat or just unmute and just mention and share.
Phase 1, the character development.
Yes, yes, Maureen, character development. Yeah, I know we covered it somewhere. It may not be within those 5 phases of leadership by John C. Maxwell, but Maureen, you have reminded us the 3 phases of leadership. Yeah, character development, then stepping into leadership, and then generativity, giving back to society. So that's one of the aspects that we also covered. Thank you so much for also just refreshing our memory on that. Then the ones for John C. Maxwell, anybody else who can share your reflection? Levels of leadership by John C. Maxwell. Then if you're not very sure, just feel free to share. You might also remind us of something else, just the way Maureen has done. And it has made us to just focus on what. Yes, good evening, Teresia.
There was a position
Mm-hmm.
where people follow you because they believe they have to.
Mm-hmm. That was level 1. Thank you so much, Teresia. So we start from position, yeah, where you lead by rights. You have the rights or you have the title, and therefore people follow you, not that they really want to, but they have to. Yeah, and we say that that's where we begin. That's the lowest level of leadership in the hierarchy, and then we now build around there. You may not necessarily start from there. You could start from any other level, but that's like the minimum, the lowest level. Thank you. Anybody else who could take us to the next one? Not necessarily in the order, but just any that you remember.
Yeah.
Production. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yes, Maureen.
Production.
Production. Any? Yes, Maureen. Continue.
The leaders get to motivate people in doing where leaders become the change agents at that point.
Yeah, production. Production is level 3, and this is where you lead by results. Yeah. If you are working in an organization, you are a person of results, and therefore people follow you because of your contribution to the organization. Yeah, thank you. Dennis?
Permission.
Yes, permission. Yes, you could share some more light on that. Yeah, that's level 2. Level 2 and level
That
2.
is,
Mhm.
this is where people choose to follow you because they want to, and they give the reader permission to read them.
Yeah, true. It's based on relationship. And at this level, there is a relationship, and therefore there is some sort of connection. And that's very important for leadership. And at that level, whoever is following you, they have done it. They are doing it intentionally, on choice, on purpose. And that there are many factors that could be contributing to that. One, we said you build a relationship with the people. And two, probably you're adding more value to their lives, and many other factors that could determine that. And I think even as we look at that, just looking around, you could see some of the leaders that really were very focused in terms when it comes to relationships. I like mentioning that, especially when it comes to religious leadership, where we have religious organizations. Here, people may not follow you because of sometimes title. Yes, they can, but the most important is the relationship, because there are no, sometimes, in most cases actually, there are no code of, there is no policies that are compelling people to come to that church every Sunday. They are coming there willingly, and if they feel they want to change, easily they can be able to change. And therefore, what really determines is the relationship that is built. That's what keeps people together or coming to the church or to any other religious organization. Thank you. 2 more to go.
People development.
Yes, Maureen, people development. Any additional insight you may wish to share on that?
You identify and develop as many leaders so that now you are reproducing more of the change, so that as a change agent, you have more people coming in to continue with that change. So you are developing them to become leaders themselves.
Yeah, you believe in empowerment. You believe in producing more leaders. You believe in mentorship. You believe in making people much better. And therefore, people are working with you willingly. There's a lot of value that's coming from your leadership. And therefore, they feel the need to work with you as a leader. And then finally, the highest level. The highest level. Anybody who will crack it out? This one, I think I'll give a free copy of my book. Whoever gets it, I'll organize. I make sure you get it. A free copy. Should I say mara ya kwanza?
Let me answer. How about the pinnacle?
Yes.
Yeah. It is the challenging part. It's something that you are doing as it's for the long haul. You want to have, so that it can have continuity.
Yeah, you are right. Pinnacle, the highest level. The key word here is respect. People respect you. Yeah, they respect you for the kind of life that you demonstrate as a leader. Actually, they respect you based on your lifestyle of a leader, who you are and what you represent. And this is a leader that I said when he or she gets into the room where we are, nobody tells us to stand. You know, there are those kind of meetings where you are instructed when the person comes in, you will stand, you will do this, you will do this. No, for this is not that kind of a setup. Either you find yourself just doing it naturally. Yeah, just think of you are in a room and Nelson Mandela gets in when he was alive. Just the level of respect for that person. One, for the sacrifice. Wangari Maathai gets in, or Mother Teresa, many other leaders that we have been talking about, some of whom we have not even mentioned here, but when they get into the room, we have no choice but just to respect them. That's the pinnacle, the highest level of leadership. Thank you, Maureen. I have a book for you. One of my book is The Power of Your Gift, and I'll make sure you get that book for answering that question. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good, thank you too. I think leaders, we are ready to go. So tonight we just want to move on, and we want to look at the next topic. A very, very interesting discussion tonight, as we talk about what we are calling redefining leadership. Redefining leadership, because leadership has been defined in many versions. But at the end of this session, you will be able to appreciate our concept and our perspective about how do you define leadership, or how do you look at leadership. So this session will take us just through that experience, just to appreciate the holistic nature of leadership and how we need to have the various dimensions on how we look at leadership. I don't want to preempt this, so that we can be able to engage. Feel free to ask as many questions as possible. The person who is facilitating this session, she's an educator, she's a trainer, so I'm sure she will want to have a more engagement with you. She's also a co-founder of Jitambue Mentorship Program. She's an alumni of this masterclass cohort. She was in cohort. There are so many cohorts nowadays. But she was in cohort 19, and she's been able to facilitate a number of sessions. Especially for her, she has really focused on this particular one topic, which is something that we normally encourage. If you get one topic, anchor yourselves there so that you become a master. When we think of anybody to facilitate that session, we'll always think about you. So every time we think about who should facilitate module 10, Milka always comes to mind. And Milka, here we have a team of leaders here from diverse backgrounds. Very, very interactive, very dynamic team, as you have seen, and just want to invite you to take us through this discussion, and feel free to engage them in whatever version you feel is best fit. Thank you, and welcome.
Much good evening, leaders. I am glad to be here tonight. I am blessed to meet Susan, Teresia, Waruguru, all of us, David Okello. I'm so blessed. Thank you, Mr. Kiari, for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted. My name is Milka Wairi Mundumia. As Mr. Kiari has said, I'm born again, and I'm mother of 3. And of course, I'm in the mountain of education and training, and I bless the Lord. So I want to just go straight so that we redeem time. I want to share my screen. Yes, so we want to start on this very important topic on redefining leadership. And we want to look at leadership from many dimensions. And by the end of the day, from a broad perspective, then by the end of the day, we'll be able to come to a conclusion. So our lesson objective tonight is to examine or go through definitions of leadership by different leaders and others, to be able to identify common key elements of successful leaders. And
Milka
I am
probably
sure,
could put a slideshow so that we a bit big on our end.
yes, thank you. Just a minute. Thank
Yeah.
you. So,
Thank you. That's good. Thank you.
okay. So I'm sure in our different capacities in the church, in our workplace, our marketplaces, in our families, we've been able to identify leaders. And I want to open this discussion, and I want to ask, who is that leader? Which leader would you be willing to follow? I want us to participate here. Which is that leader you have seen, you've identified, and you'd be willing to follow? And what is that quality, one quality that you have seen in that leader? I'm sure our leader has just popped in your mind. Maybe we can have Dennis tell us. Or anyone else can unmute and tell us. A leader that you know and you would be willing to follow them. And what is that you have seen in them? The first one to unmute to start our discussion tonight. Are we in class, Dennis? Warugoro, I can see Susan.
Mm,
Maybe I
would
can.
be- oh,
I can
sorry.
start.
Uh,
I think it varies on what exactly, but generally, any leader who seems to really speak out of experience, somebody who's
okay,
walked,
okay. Let me put my question clearly. Who is that leader that you know them and you're willing to follow them? You have seen them, maybe you have envied them, you have liked them. And what is that quality you have seen in that leader? Just a mention of a name and the quality.
Okay. I'm Susan. The leader I would like for an example is Wangari Maathai, because she was a woman of principles. She was confident with herself, and she used to go for what she wants. It didn't matter what is on her way, she used to go for what she wanted. That is what I admired about her. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, thank you so much, Susan. That is true, confidence. Yeah. Thank you. Someone else?
Yes, I can go on.
Yes.
Yes, one of the leader that I aspire, he was Timothy Joya. He was a brave man, and he always embraced the truth, and he was courageous enough even to say this thing is not being done the right way. And up to date, he still stands in that gap.
Wow, that is awesome. So we have Wangari Maathai for confidence. Then we have Timothy Njoya for courage. The last one other person who can contribute.
The former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Gabriel Mugabe, he was a no-nonsense guy.
Okay, thank you. That one of being very assertive and authoritative. All right, thank you so much. Yes, we have leaders all around us, and we watch them and we see how they do whatever they do, and that is good. So I want us to sorry. Thank you for that. I want us to look at the first definition of what is leadership, or who is a leader. And I want to start by saying that leadership is first personal, and that is self-leadership. This means that you lead yourself first before you lead the others. You can only lead yourself first before you lead the others. That one means that you do a SWOT analysis of yourself, know your strength, know your weaknesses, know your the opportunities that are around you, and also the threats that are around you. So you need to discover yourself, the personal discovery, being aware of yourself, and you develop yourself, you develop your potential. Be able to identify what are your gifts, what are your natural abilities, what are your talents, what is that that is unique with you, that you're going to make it even stronger. And what is that problem, a challenge that you have that you can work on and you make it strong? So private victory precedes public victory. You need to conquer yourself first. Sometimes when I'm in Vika Road and passing through Mangu High School, I see these, their motto, Jishinde Ushinde, something like that. And that one is self leadership, being aware of yourself. And that is when you can be able to help others. Okay. So leadership is a function of knowing yourself, having vision, having a vision that is well communicated, building trust among colleagues, and taking effective action to realize your own leadership potential. So what we are saying is that you must identify your potential as a leader before you can be able to help others identify and live out their full potential. And that one was, of course, a quote by Professor Dr. Mohammed Kudri. And no leader, very important that we know that no leader sets out to be a leader. The people set out to live their lives. They express themselves fully. And when that expression is of value, they become leaders. So the point is not to become a leader. The point is to become yourself and to use yourself completely. That's your skills, your gifts, and your energies in order to make your vision manifest. And you must withhold nothing. You must, in sum, become the person you started out to be and to enjoy the process of becoming. So before you set out to be a leader, you need to first be yourself, and you live yourself fully, and you accomplish what you're supposed to accomplish. And with that, we want to look at the next one. But unless we have a comment on that first point, that leadership is self-leadership, being aware of yourself and developing yourself, that is key. So leadership is servanthood, and we know that what we actually mean by being a servant is being able to serve others, being able to be useful to others. It is not being the boss. It is actually being helpful, providing solutions and help when it is needed, bringing people together. The servant leader is servant first. So you must be a servant leader, a servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that you want to serve and to serve first. So that should be the first thing, that I want to serve. I want to help. I have this gift and I want to help. So that is where it begins. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. And that person is sharply different from one who is leader first. So very important that we become servants first. And we know that Jesus also demonstrated this as a servant leader by washing the disciples' feet and living a life that was simple but very effective. So that is servant leader. And we have this very common quote, or a very good quote by J.F. Kennedy, when he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." You know, sometimes we look at what maybe the companies we are working for will do for us, what the church will do for us. But you need to ask yourself, what can I do for my organization? What can I do for my church? How can I improve this and that? What can I do for my family? So that should be the guiding principle in servant leadership. Ask what others can do for you. Ask what you can do for others. And that is from Joseph Mburu. Leadership is a lifestyle. Leadership is everyone's daily business. It's a lifestyle, meaning that you live it every day. At home, you are showing leadership. In the marketplace, when you're waiting for the bus, the matatu, you are showing leadership. At work, everywhere, whatever we do, it's a lifestyle. It's something that we do every day, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And because it's a lifestyle, then it means that all of us are leaders. Can lead because everyone can serve. This was said by James Stroke. So well, every one of us is a leader. So we only need to develop ourselves, and then we'll be able to become effective. Leadership is everyone's business. It is a highly learnable skill. It is a person or the title that creates real leaders. So we are saying that leadership is not for a group of people out there. The way sometimes we identify the politicians and we say those are the leaders. We are all leaders in various capacities, and we can all be effective. We can learn to lead because we can learn to serve. We can learn to live it. So it is a learnable skill. And It is the person, not the title. It's about you. It's not about the title that you have. We continue. And leadership permeates a leader's lifestyle and is manifested in the actions, beliefs, values, and attitudes of a leader. And so far, maybe I can hear a contribution, something that you have picked on the 3 definitions that we have discussed. I don't want to be alone on this side. Hannah Joroge, what have you picked from what we have discussed? Hannah, you can unmute and you just give a comment. We can have Okello. Okello. Are we moving together? I hope we are all here.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you
We're
can just say
together.
something that you have picked.
Yeah, that is leadership first begins with an individual, and it now furthers to being a servanthood. And now you go to that extent where you can live for it becomes a lifestyle, and then you can be able to do it as a daily business.
Oh, wow, that is wonderful. That's a very good connection. So let us look at this definition that says that leadership is coaching, and that means positioning and empowering others to function better and maximize impact. So coaching people to do what they are doing, like the way we have the football coaches in the field who are really bringing up, they are showing them how to do it. So leadership is coaching, and a leader is directly involved in the development of their people, seeking to advance their personal and professional growth. That is coaching, developing people's their giftings and developing them, their whatever that they have to become better. So a coaching leader helps people build on their strengths, recognize their weaknesses, and improve their skills. So we got to coach others, help them to the strengths that they have, we make it stronger as we reduce on their weaknesses, and of course improving their skills. So leadership is coaching. You position and then you empower others that they can even do better than you. So good leaders position themselves. Great leaders position others. Ultimate leaders empower others. Great leaders do not set out to be leaders. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, always. It's never about the role, always about the goal. So we need to be focused on the goal, and we coach everyone because when the goal is achieved, then everyone has achieved it. It's not about the leader, it's about everyone. So coaching others. Leadership is not a one-man show. You bring others, bring them up, and they even become stronger than you are. So that is coaching. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. So at the back of our minds as leaders, we should always know that we are bringing up someone, we are growing someone, so that someone can be better They can even go far than we have gone. And if all of us had this in mind, then even our country would be far. Your organization would be far, because everyone is helping the other one to come up. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission also. So leadership is a privilege to better the lives of others. It is not an opportunity to satisfy a personal greed. So that is a very profound statement, that it is a privilege. You are in a position to make others better, to let their light shine. It is not about you. It's not a one-man show. So it is about developing others. And that one becomes a blessing. That was said by Mwai Kibaki. So leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence, and making sure that impact lasts in a leader's absence. That is awesome. That when you are away, things can be done even better than when you are around, because you have coached and you have coached, meaning there will be no gaps. So leadership is coaching. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. So when you empower others, you also empower yourself. You also become better. Become a better coach when you continue coaching others. You become a better leader when you continue training others. The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. That one was said by Ronald Reagan, that a leader, we should be selfless, and we help others bring out their potential. And we should not be afraid, because when we truly coach them, they will become better than us, and they will do the greatest things than we have done. But by the end of the day, remember, it's at the goal. We are able to get to the goals of our organizations, of our families, of our churches, and so on and so forth. So we should not withhold. That's what we said, withholding nothing, but giving freely. And that one will make others better than us. And that is leadership. Leadership is unlocking people's potential to become better. Very, very true. Unlocking people's potential, telling them they can make it, making them know that they can do it. That is unlocking their potential, and they become better. Bill Bradley. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. Bill Gates. So this is very true, that if you are not there to empower others, then you have no business being a leader. So we want to have this leader, and that's why we are here even in this class, so that we know that we need to empower others. We have a privilege to be in this class and to learn about leadership. So can we go out there and empower others? So leadership is about three things: to listen, to inspire, and to empower. I hope you are noting the three important things. You listen to the people, you inspire them, that's you motivate them, you influence them, and you empower them. And you're empowering them to be able to achieve their objectives or the goals of their organization. Leadership is the ability to recognize the special abilities and limitations of others, combined with the capacity to set each one into the job where he will do his best. ability to recognize the special abilities and limitations of others. Yeah, so as a leader, you should be able to know that this one is very good in this. Maybe one of them is very talkative. That one could look like it's not very useful at work. But again, it can be useful because that's somebody who can do marketing for the organization. So those special abilities. Another one is good at keeping records. You should be able to identify them and be able to put them to do where they will do their best. Wow, so far so good. Leadership is influence. I think we have come across this term influence again and again, because leadership again is about influence. And this influence is through inspiration, inspiring them. And this inspiration will be motivated by passion, being passionate and anchored on a vision. You're not just passionate about nothing. You have a vision. You have something you're looking up to. So leadership is influence. This passion should consume you so much that as you walk every day, as you rise every day, whatever you do, you have the passion in you. And through that, the others are able to also catch it. They are able to catch it when they see you are passionate and anchored on a vision. A leader must be visionary. Where are we going? Being able to see the end from the beginning. So now that you can see the end, that this is where the organization needs to be, then now you put passion, you put more work, and with that, we will be able to influence the people who are around us. So leadership is having a vision, sharing that vision, and inspiring others to support your vision while creating their own. Yes, having a vision, you must be visionary as a leader. Even now, maybe if I ask you, what is your church mission and vision and objectives and so on, you must catch that vision. Then you understand that vision so that you can be able to share that vision and be able to inspire others to support the vision. A man without a vision for his future always returns to his past. Remember, a vision, it is like a guiding light. It shows you where you are going. By the end of the day, what you need to achieve. So we must be visionary. And that is when we will be able to influence the others, because we know the end. Before we have started, we know the end. So effective leadership is providing the vision and motivation to a team, so they work together toward the same goal, and then understand the talents and temperaments of each individual, and if effectively motivating each person to contribute. Sorry. Yes, we can look at this one as well, that if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. We are saying that leadership is influence, and it is through inspiration and motivated by passion. So if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. But so whatever you do should be an inspiration to the others, that they need to dream more, they need to know more, they need to do more. And this, of course, we said it's because of the passion that they can see. So leadership is a capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by passion, generated by vision, produced by a conviction, ignited by a purpose. So we're talking about 4 very important words in leadership: inspiration, passion, vision, conviction, and purpose. All this put together, you'll be able to go far, and you'll be able to influence the people who are around us. So as a leader, carry those words, very key words: influence, inspiration, passion, vision, conviction, and purpose. So a leader is one who sees more than others see, and you see further than others see. And you also see before others see. Yes, that is a leader. You must be able to see more than others. Someone told me, and also be able to see further. Someone told me that as a leader, and I'm sure all of us, we are leaders, we've said we are leaders. The job that you have, you're employed to think. So you must be able to think, be able to bring solutions, be able to see that if we move this direction, we are not moving in the right direction. So that is leadership. And leadership is a privilege to serve and mentor more leaders. So let us take leadership as a privilege. And because of that, then it should be humbling that we are leaders. Because if it's a privilege, it means that others can also become. Anybody, you can't say that now me, I was born a leader and I'm a leader and all that. Leadership is just a privilege. So we should take it with caution so that we serve and we mentor more leaders. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. I always wish that as leaders, we were able to produce more leaders and not more followers. But sometimes you realize that when we mistake what is leadership, we want to just have a one-man show. We want to just produce ourselves, and the others are followers. It means that you are walking alone. You are good at it. You are walking alone, and you are not coaching others. You are not inspiring others. So we should be able to produce more leaders and not more followers. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Yes, so before you are a leader, you are, of course, developing and growing yourself. But if you call yourself a leader and you have become a leader, then we will find you successful when we see the people you have brought up, when we see the people's potential that have come up, when we see people doing better than you did. So the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. I think you need to underscore that we need to produce more followers. So every day, who is that person that you are producing? Who is that leader that you are helping to become? And not followers. We want more leaders and not followers. Remember, when we have more leaders, then it means we'll be able to solve problems, we'll be able to achieve our objectives. But when we have followers, then that one might be a tricky affair. A leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and show the way. Yes, very important. This one, you can even write it and put it on your door or somewhere you can see every day. that as a leader, you need to know the way. That means you have a vision. You also go the way and show the way. That is what we're talking about, coaching, inspiring others. Very, very important. So leadership is a privilege. Leadership is becoming your best at your craft. That is mastery. So as a leader, we cannot afford to be mediocre. We have to be excellent. Excellence should be a thing of a leader. Know what you are supposed to do. Whatever you are doing, do it your best. And I want to bring this to our attention that sometimes we don't have to be at the top, because sometimes we always eyeing at the top seat. No, it's not about being at the top. It's about where you are, the role that you've been given. Maybe you are an accountant, maybe you are a marketer. Whatever role you've been given, you do it so well. You do it so well. You learn about it so well. You polish it so well. And that is what we call leadership. And once you have done that, in whatever capacity you are, then now you become what we call a 360 degrees leader, meaning that you are able to influence the people above you, influence the people at your level, influence the people who are below you. You become all round. And as a junior that you could be, you find even the CEO coming to consult with you because you have done your thing so well. So leadership is about mastery, that excellence. You don't need to be at the top. That is not it. But whatever responsibility, even if you are a sweeper or you are a cleaner or you serve, whatever you do, doing it so well, cleaning that cup so well, as we are going to see. If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets. Just like this gentleman painted and Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. That is Martin Luther King Jr. So if you're given a coffee cup to wash it better than it has ever been washed. So that is it. Being your best, being your best, producing your best, making sure that whatever you're doing, it is polished. That is leadership. And I am saying that from that point, you'll be able to influence everyone in the organization. If you are a worship leader, do it so well. If you are a leader wherever you are, do it so well. Your leadership, do it so well. And with that, then that will be leadership, good leadership. So leadership is becoming an agent of hope. You give hope to the team. Sometimes a project is being done and there is maybe things are becoming hard. We don't seem to get solutions. We don't seem to finish. So a leader, you are there hailing them and telling them, oh, we are making it. You mean we have failed this time? We are doing it better the next time. You are an agent of hope. You are a dealer of hope. Sometimes back, there was a time that our salaries took so long to be paid. And we wondered, what is happening that the salary has delayed? It is after fast, salary has not come. Then one of my colleagues came and said, and I believe that is a leader. She came and said, do not complain that your salary has delayed, but look at, is there anything good that this organization has done for you? Now, not just forgetting about your salaries are late, but is that, remember, if there's any other thing that your organization has ever done for you, something good for you. And that one was really give us hope that we should not look at what the organization has not done, but we look at what the organization has done. So and that is leadership. Leadership, and as a leader, you are an agent of hope, telling the rest that we can make it. Our targets are high, but we can make it. Others have made it, and we will make it. Okay, so a leader is a dealer in hope. Napoleon Bonaparte. Leaders instill in their people a hope for success and a belief in themselves. Positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. That motivation alone, that just giving people hope, will make people go far. Oh, leadership is character. And when I talk about character, I know that all of us here can agree that character is very essential for leadership, because the famous quote that says that actions speak better than words. We see what you do more than we listen to you say. So character is paramount. And another one said that your character will limit you. Even if you are very bright, you are very intelligent, if you don't work on your character, it will limit you as a leader. So a leader is someone that should be a role model. People look up to you. People watch what you do. Therefore, we cannot afford to just look character like a minor thing. So leadership is character. What is your character as a leader? How do people know you? What is that people can identify you with? What is that behavior? So successful leadership is not about being soft, sensitive, or assertive, but about a set of attributes. First and foremost is character, said by Warren Bennis. And character being the firm foundation stone upon which one must build to win respect. If you want people to follow you, then you must have a good character. So character is something that every leader needs to work on. And no one can climb out beyond the limitations of his own character. Your character can limit you. Even if you wanted to go far, then your character would bring you down. So we need to look at character as paramount in leadership. In the last analysis, what we are communicating far more eloquently than anything we say or do. What we are, communicates far more eloquently than anything we say or do. Yes. What we do, very, very important. And good character is more to be praised than outstanding talent. We need to work on our character first and then polish on our talents. Most talents are to some extent a gift. Good character, by contrast, is not given to us. We have to build it piece by piece. So this is hard work. Character is hard work. We need to work hard to bring that discipline that is required. Leadership is a capacity and will to rally men and women to a common purpose, and the character which inspires confidence. So that one was said by Bernard Montgomery, the British Field Marshal. Even as we talk about character, we need to also look at leadership as being transformational, or leadership is transformation. And the leader's ability to move followers beyond the immediate self-interest. That is what we call transformational leadership. Being able to transform, to move people beyond a certain point. And this one will be done through in idealized influence, or what we call charisma. When we talk about charisma, we talk about that attractiveness, having that attractiveness, and or having that charm that is able to inspire others. So we must be influential as leaders. You must have that charisma. Then we need to be inspirational, to be able to motivate. Then, of course, to be able to be a transformational leader, we need to be people-driven, or we must show genuine concern to develop other people, genuine concern to help others. That is individualized consideration. And it is also, you'll also be able to move people from one point to the other through intellectual stimulation, to stimulate the minds of the people to be creative, to be critical thinkers, to be problem solvers. So we need to be able to bring such experiences that people will be able to, and this one helps people to grow, where they use their mind to see how to go about some things. So that one is transformational. And when you're able to make people think, when you're able to make people solve problems, then that is really transformational. You have helped a whole generation. So transformational leaders are influential, they are charismatic, they are confident, they are intelligent, they are self-driven, and they are insightful. I hope you have listed those adjectives down, adjectives that are depicting who is a transformational leader. And leadership is strategy. A leader, you must be strategic, very, very strategic. And when you talk about strategic leadership, we are talking about the ability of the top level managers or leaders to determine the future courses of action and direction of the organization and motivate others to make efforts in that direction. So we must be strategic. For us to be strategic, then we need to be visionary. We need to know what is a vision, where are we going? We must be able to use different types of leadership. We must be able to develop a vision for our organization. And we must be able to make our organization remain competitive and relevant in the changes that come every day. So you must be really, you must be able to understand the organization mission in order to be strategic. That means that you need to understand why your company exists or why your church exists, who are the customers, who are the congregation, and how you can provide value for them. Then after you have done that, then you create a strategy to put the vision into action. And this strategy should have steps that you need to make in order to achieve the objectives. And as you can see from our diagram here, that we have 3 levels. We have the strategic level. The strategic level here is where you are able to come up with rules or understand the rules and the laws that are governing your organization. Be able to understand all the missions, the objectives, and the visions of the organization. Then the second level is the tactical level, where there are the procedure, and this is maybe simply the procedures, the systems and how things are done, the systems and the structures on how to do things. Then, of course, we have the operational, and this is the implementation stage. And here, what concerns us is that policies are implemented well, the team is motivated, people are working in the right direction, and this is also the production stage, so that when things are done well, then we are able to produce more. The 3 levels in leadership, in strategic leadership. And when we look at the strategic leadership theory, we understand that as a leader, you provide direction. You're providing direction because you have the purpose, you know the purpose, and you know the vision. You are thinking, strategic thinking. You know the end, you know where the company, the organization, the church is going. You know that your church is to maybe win souls for Christ. So then how are we going to win the souls for Christ? How are we going to get there? You organize, you reorganize. That is, of course, the strategic acting and strategic teaming. And of course, now as a leader, you release the corporate spirit, the teamwork. You lead by example. You release that energy, that morale and confidence that everyone is working together towards a certain goal. Then also as a leader, you need to look to relate the organization to the wider environment. Remember, an organization exists to provide some services or some goods to others, to the outside world. So you need to relate the organization so that you're not an island. Your organization needs to grow. So who are the partner stakeholders? How are they coming in and why are they coming in? Then, of course, you need to look at the succession story, develop today and tomorrow's leaders. We talked about coaching of leaders. Very, very important. That is strategic leadership. Just a minute. So we are coming to the tail of the matter, and we have looked at 11 dimensions of leadership. You can see them all around, and maybe I want to ask the class to say which are some of those ones that you have felt. Which one is key? Which one do you think carries the day among the 11 dimensions of leadership? Let's quickly be able to discuss because of the purposes of time. Time is far much gone. Someone? Unmute and say which one to you is the most important one. Which one has come out strong for you?
Character.
Just explain in maybe a minute.
Okay. The character of an individual, because leadership starts from within, and then others follow. So if the character is bad, the followers will also be wrongly influenced. So the character of a leader is very important in this case, and it's where it all begins, the attitude and the vision and the purpose that comes from within.
Okay, wow, that is wonderful. Someone else, we balance the gender.
Yeah. If I'll go for servanthood. For you to be able to serve others, you must first begin with serving yourself. And this is modeling yourself to be a person of integrity, have a transformative mind, being strategic. Then you start now serving others with all those dimensions in mind.
Okay, wow, that is wonderful. I totally agree with us. I am sure there is one that has stood out. But all that notwithstanding, we need to look at all the 11 dimensions of leadership together as complementing one another. So we need to have bits of all this. And one we can have this one, complementary of this each, then we become great leaders. So those were the 11 dimensions of leadership. Let's look at the common elements in the definitions. Some words that have stood out, like self-awareness and personal development. We have the vision and purpose. And this one, a vision, I said it's very key for a leader. And also the purpose. What is your purpose as a person? Everyone has a purpose. Being able to identify your purpose, and you align it with the vision. And of course, having known about yourself and developing yourself. Influence through inspiration, not manipulation. So we influence through inspiration, not manipulation. Inspire people, not manipulate people. Then we have inspiration, which is coming through passionate commitment to a vision and purpose. We talked about passion. Passion is that consuming, that thing that consumes you and makes you, when you sleep, when you wake up, you are just consumed by it. And that is what will be able to inspire the others. We have to be, of course, communicate effectively, eliciting willing collaboration or support. We must be effective communicators if we have to be leaders. Leadership is about communicating every day, giving instructions, give them clearly, and all that. Coaching, we talked about coaching. That means deploy people's potentials, people's potential gifts and potential. It means empowering others to do better. Then we have character. We can't forget that one. And leadership is founded on strong character. You need to put a star on that one. Your character must be a winning character. Then we have coordinating and balancing the conflicting interests of all members or stakeholders. Actually, when you are able to bring solve conflicts so that people can work together in the same spirit, that is leadership. So we look at leadership process. It starts with developing your self-knowledge, being aware of yourself and defining it. Then you need to connect to a purpose in life. That is the why. Why are you here? And when you know your purpose, then it leads to significance. Then you need to capture the vision. then conceive it. And the vision means having the end in mind. And when you have the vision, it ignites the passion, or it gives you the passion. Then you need to inspire others and motivate others so that they can, all of us can be able to achieve the goal. So even as you are influencing them to pursue a common vision, they are also building their own. So we have that organizational vision. We also have personal vision. So this one will go hand in hand. So finally, we can say that leadership is influenced through inspiration by becoming your authentic self to maximize your potential and serve your purpose to positively impact humanity. And leadership is authenticated by service. Greatness is a product of servanthood, as we come to the conclusion. Maybe this is a challenge for you, that in this lesson we identified some common elements in the definition of leadership. Remember those words that kept coming: passion, vision, those words that were coming so much, inspiration, and so on. Identify elements you require to advance. As you continuously improve your skills and knowledge, you experience personal growth and transformation. And with that, I come to the end. But before I come to the end, I want to invite one or two to give a comment or ask a question that we can be able to respond. Maybe very quickly because of time. Vitalis.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, we are waiting. We can have, I don't know why Vitalis, they have disappeared. Bernard, not Bernard, sorry, Teresia.
Network. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think it's been a great lesson. Sorry. It's been a great lesson, and we've learned much on leadership, which we need to practice, to put it into practice, and also learn the art of listening, and also inspiring and empowering. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maybe the last one, Peter.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. I would like to ask a question.
Okay, you can also write it down if you have a problem with the audio.
About something today, leadership is. I was asking a question. We've learned that leadership is to give hope. But sometimes you may want to give hope to people, but some people they may not want to listen to hear about hope. They lose completely. They don't want to listen anymore. What do you do with such people?
Okay, a good question. Maybe somebody else. As Mr. Kerry is coming, he will be able to respond to that. Any other question? Okay, thank you very much. I didn't get the question clearly for Mr. Ojiambo. So I want to welcome maybe Mr. Kiari, who can to take us to the next session as you respond to that. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Milka. Thank you for engaging us. Someone has said on the chat, you are very articulate. Yeah, you're very articulate, and I really appreciate the dimensions have come out very clear, and I'm sure leaders we appreciate that there's no one way to look at leadership. There are many ways to look at leadership, and this is how we felt would appreciate this topic of leadership in a more broader way, and also try to look at ourselves in terms of the 11 dimensions. They could be more, but we just try to narrow down to the 11. And also to reflect, maybe if you evaluate yourself, you could see you had probably focused on one or two or three or four of them, but now at least we can have a more broader view on the 11th of them, 11 dimensions. And then also, even in terms of how we look at our teams, how we look at our the various leaders, we can also position them probably to be able to function in some particular dimensions. Maybe they have more strength in some particular dimension, then we could have also that leverage to enable us position the leaders effectively. But I think, as we said, the more we become aware of this, the more we have this knowledge, the more we look at ourselves in a more broader way, the more we have deeper reflections, the more we also have more information to even engage more authoritatively on this subject of leadership, because I'm sure those 11 dimensions, that's a whole workshop. It's a whole workshop. There's a lot to be unpacked just by having a look at the 11 dimensions. So I trust that we appreciate the discussion. We also just take some time to reflect on what we have shared and think through. And more importantly, just to be able to have an inner reflection and see what are the areas of improvement. That's the most important area of focus for us, is that we have looked at the 11 dimensions, but what are they speaking? What am I getting out of these 11 dimensions? And what do I need to do? Is there something that I've identified? Is there an area that I've picked out that maybe I need to work on, or I need to discuss with my team, or I need to bring to the attention of my team, and maybe even just one particular dimension that probably you feel you need to have more light, either to you as a person or together with your team. So I think we could appreciate that and bring that to a close at this particular juncture, and unless we have any additional comment. But as we do that, let me just mention on what Pastor Vitalis has talked about. Yeah, and I think this is an experience that I'm sure this is something that probably most of us have experienced in one way or another, where people come to the end, and regardless of what regardless of how much hope you try to ignite, they have locked. There is no more space for hope. I don't know, maybe during COVID, somehow that kind of an experience probably was there at a different level, at different levels, and many other circumstances that we probably have encountered. I don't want just to address this alone. Maybe I could just also invite one person who could share their thoughts on that. Then we'll be able to conclude this discussion and just briefly mention something on the project proposal as we wind up. Anybody who may wish just to share either your personal experience or any general knowledge on terms of the question that Pastor Vitalis has brought up, where yes, you want to give people hope, but they have come to their end, and some of them may not even really want to engage in that discussion anymore. And I think this is a reality, something that is happening, and I'm sure it has also contributed to many other challenges within society, and also in terms of how we are able to lead. I could request maybe one or two people just to add your voice to this. Yeah, probably, I don't know, Harrison, if you could share any comment on that.
Thank you. Yes, I think that happens. But again, I believe someone's end where you find you really you can't be able to push further. That end, there is always another life to that end. Meaning it appears as though, because of the effort you've put, as though there is no way you can help a person to bring hope back. But I think continuous persistence, there's always that yielding point. Every human being, every soul has a yielding point where it's once you hear it long enough, or you keep pushing it more and more, it's so surprising how the same person then begins to see the sense. I don't know, maybe Pastor had a particular scenario. However, I believe your end is just the beginning of something higher. So with that understanding, you can almost never give up to keep pushing. Even when you get to drop the ball, at that moment, then it's just the beginning of another phase.
Yeah, thank you so much, Harrison. And I agree with you totally. I remember during the COVID season, our pastor was very consistent. He was telling us, see you on the other end, see you on the other side. Almost, that was like, it became actually a slogan. Yeah, even some of us who are within the congregation, those who are almost giving up, we could just remind ourselves, see you on the other side. And somehow, we were able to get to the other side. We didn't know how it looked like, but we believed what we were being told. But I agree with you, the persistence, that became like a slogan. Until today, it's so much embedded in us that when you get into a challenge, you're able to tell the other person, see you on the other side. So persistent, very, very well put. Thank you so much. I see Ndirangu Peter, your hand is raised. Kindly proceed.
Thank you, sir. I think my opinion would be, if personally I have a case whereby somebody has a serious problem that I'm not able to address or proceed with, then there is this policy of making a referral. Because I think as a leader, you need to recognize the people who are around you who deserve as the support system to your own objectives, or rather your own vision. Therefore, I would imagine around me there is somebody else who could offer better assistance. Therefore, I would make a referral at that particular point. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Make a referral. Yeah, I believe sometimes I also see that happening. Allow me also to just use the church setup where sometimes you have to bring someone else. It's not that there's so much change even in the message, but maybe the delivery, the connection, and many other aspects could make a difference. So also being very attentive to know when do I need probably to refer this case to someone else, as Ndirangu has put it. I think that's also very important, just to note. And then also probably when to change how you communicate. Yeah, probably my style of communication. Do I need to make a change in terms of how I communicate? Yeah, you know, there are times we could, especially in leadership, we tell leaders there is a way you could communicate and people will just lock themselves. They will just they will just block you. They will not actually be listening to you because maybe the kind and your style of communication doesn't really allow them just to speak to themselves. It actually looks like what we call the msomo kind of a scenario. There is a time it works, but there is also a time where you have to see which is the best way to communicate. It's the best way to communicate. So the style of communication, sometimes you could also review on that. Do I need to change how I communicate? Probably do I need to focus more into the future than where we are now? Do I need to tilt a little bit and not just talk about the problem, but also talk about probably some of positive aspects that will now help us just to go beyond what we are seeing and really look into the positive picture ahead. And remember, we are not saying that we don't acknowledge the current state or the prevailing state. It's good also to acknowledge, but again, go beyond that and be able to now forecast into the positive, that positive future. So I think we could just merge that. Probably, Dennis, we could conclude with you on this. Thank you so much for your volunteering to add your voice to this. Let's conclude just by listening from Dennis.
Okay, thank you. And in this case, I will give a case of a family setup where you as a parent or being maybe an elder brother or an elder sister, in case your brother doesn't even listen or heed to your instruction, the worst thing you can do is just to give up. So you have sometimes to be patient with the people and see what they are. At times we are forced, even as parents, as elder brothers and sisters, to just give people time. And then as they, maybe you give them some few minutes, and in the process you don't keep quiet, you just re-strategize. And this is where we can apply what we are running today as one of the principles, that is being strategic. You re-strategize the approach that maybe you had used, because the way once you approach an individual, you can be able to see the reaction, and based on that, as a reader, you just sit down, come up with another approach or another alternative way that you can approach this person so that he or she can buy the idea. But the most important thing is, being a reader, you must be patient, and sometimes you have even to be more than patient than you thought you are. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dennis. I know, Pastor Vitalis, we just got a tip of the iceberg. There could be more into your question, but we have attempted to answer based on the little information that we have from what you have discussed. Maybe from there you can see what could work for you, and you could also explore, but just from the suggestions that have been shared. I don't know if you're good with that, Pastor Vitalis?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Good. So, leaders, today we just wanted to handle one lesson, and then probably we could just spend some few minutes looking at the project proposal. What is the goal of the project proposal? One is to cultivate solution-driven leadership. This is one of the objectives of this masterclass, because I think for leaders, we are proactive. That's one. Two, we more action-oriented. We really want to see when we pick something out, we're able to offer a solution. That's why we felt, why don't we just come up with just a style where we could collaborate as leaders. So cultivate solution-driven leadership, which is based on knowledge, with knowledge-based decision-making. And that's why we'll encourage you to research as much as possible, so that when we are getting into the strategies, we are well guided. One, because we have looked at probably some cases, we've benchmarked. Two, we have been able to clearly understand the problem. That's why we have to spend some time on the problem statement. Three, we have clear objectives that we are focused on. So cultivate solution-driven leadership, knowledge-based decision-making, and then finally enhance collaborative problem solving, as well as teamwork. At the end of this, we'll have some parameters that we shall evaluate ourselves as a team, just to see how we fared in terms of working together as a team, through how we collaborated. And again, a lot of learning, because we look at issues from different perspectives. So even as we engage, it's also part of continuous learning. There will be a lot of learning from the teams as well. And also, this being a network, it's important that we connect to a small team, so that even beyond here is a team that you can probably be able to connect with in case you need to share some knowledge, share some opportunities. So the small teams will also be a very good forum for us to ensure that all of us have been able to connect with one another. I felt I just needed to mention that even before we could discuss briefly. I am not sure if you have been able to meet as a team, and if you've been able to have a discussion around your topic. I know we introduced this last week, but it's just good for me to get a response from you, then we'll know how to proceed. So let me start with the team one. Dennis, have you been able to meet as a team?
Yes, we have met as a team.
Okay, great. Okay. Have you agreed on a topic?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I think that's okay. So maybe we could just mention the topic. We'll not get into the details today, just the topic.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that chance. We met, and our team has 5 members, and we were able to come up with a topic, and this is more of a case study on whether the agriculture industry has been involving the stakeholders in decision making for a sustainable food industry. That is what we have as our topic.
Okay.
I'll type on the public chat.
Okay, that's okay. Have you looked at the problem? Have you defined the problem?
Yes, we tried to come up with a problem, and to identify the problem statement. And in this case, there has been wrong information that is circulating, that and people have not been involved in decision making. In this case, we are considering all the stakeholders, beginning with the farmers, those people who are at the intermediary, the mirrors and all that aspect. And this has been resulting me this to unsustainable food industry.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what I could mention now, one is when it comes to problem statement, we need to cite, we need to refer so that we make it very solid. Yeah, so that it may not just be our own personal words, but it comes out clearly as either something that has been documented, or if you're talking about a gap, probably we are able to cite it out from any other article. So I'm just seeing something that I've seen what you have shared on the chat, a case study on whether agriculture industry involves the stakeholders in decision making for sustainable food industry, lack of involvement of stakeholders in decision making. So this needs to come out very clear, that lack of involvement of stakeholders in decision making, because that is the problem we are dealing with. So we have to justify that. We have to look at any literature that points out that there is lack of involvement of stakeholders in decision making, so that we build a case. The moment you build a case, then it becomes very easy now to be able to offer a solution. Yeah, and then the other thing that I also want to mention, look at the end. Where should this end at? What should be the end product of your project proposal? And what is the next step? Once we have this project done, what will be the next step? What is the value of this project? How do we probably, if it's something that we can implement, how do we implement? If it's a paper that we could share with concerned entities, how do we go about? So I want us to look at it from with the end in mind, so that as we work on it from the very beginning, we can visualize what will be the end. So the task for you is just to focus more on the problem statement. Let's justify that. Try to justify as much as possible, so that we make a case based on knowledge, as we have said, or the available information. There is no problem with the topic. Sometimes topics change along the way as we continue to refine. The most important is that you have a sector that you are focusing on. Now we want to work more on the problem statement. So that is the what I will advise your team to focus on. Focus more on the problem statement, and then focus on the objectives. Yeah, I don't know if you have looked at the objectives so far. Dennis?
We were working on the objective as well as the methodology that we'll put in place so that to achieve those objectives.
Okay. You could mention maybe one of the objectives?
This was literally we have not come up, but we were approaching it by developing a questionnaire that will involve now interviewing the different stakeholders. So we'll identify the different segments, then develop questionnaires that are specific to if it is farmers we are to interview, maybe a sample. Then from there, we interview them. And then from the questionnaire, the answers they'll give, then we can now come and sit down and analyze and see how many people have been involved in the decision making, and if the percentage, and what is the implication.
Okay, so in your methodology, I can see a combination of the primary data and secondary data.
Sure.
Yeah, so your objectives will inform the questionnaire. So we need to frame them very well, so that as we work on the questionnaire, then the questionnaire will be responding to the objectives. So what we need to do then, between now and next week, let's put some more work into the problem identification or definition, and then let's put some more work into the objectives. And remember, the objectives will be addressed by the questionnaire and also by the literature review. So we'll work, we'll continue to refine them along the way. I've shared the template. You can also look at the template of what I shared just to give you some insight as well. Otherwise, this is a good start. What did you manage to meet all of you, the 5 of you?
We managed to meet 4 of us. One of us missed, but we updated her after I did a call, and I was able to update her what we have done.
Okay, that's really commendable. I think what we'll be focusing more from this point forward is how we're able to keep the small team together. That will be one of the role of the leader, so that even in the class, at least we're able to ensure that all of us are able to participate. Thank you so much, Dennis. Just take note of those observations, and also you can share your work as we continue. If you have done some work, just share on the email. I'll look at it, and then we shall give some feedback. Good. So we move on to team 2, Teresia, Esther, Hannah, Harrison. Mary will be moving to cohort 35. So in case she doesn't participate actively, just take note of that. So Teresia, have you been able to meet as a team, and have you agreed on a topic?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, we were able to meet. All of us. We met Harrison, Hannah Njoroge, Mary Kamau, and Esther Mugo, and myself. We were able to meet yesterday and also today to finalize. It was a short period, but we tried our level best, and we came up with a topic, and we agreed on one of us to take us through. Hannah.
Yes.
Hannah, you can probably introduce our topic.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope you are all doing fine. And we sat and we came up with our topic, which is gender-based violence. That is our topic that we want to tackle, and we came up with how we can handle it in our society and how we can come up with a solution by identifying the problem that is there in our society.
And the title is Empowering Communities, a Comprehensive Approach to Gender-Based Violence.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. Maybe you could also share it on the chat. And then have you worked on the problem statement? Because that's really the heart of all this.
We did.
Okay.
What we gathered is that gender-based violence is universal, and it's affecting individuals and communities worldwide. And there are various forms of violence. So when we speak of gender-based violence, it comprises of other violent forms of violence like domestic, sexual assault, harassment, and harmful cultural practices, maybe even female FGM, female genital mutilation. And to combat this alarming problem, we propose a comprehensive strategy that will focus on prevention, protection, and support system to ensure the safety, empowerment, and well-being of all the individuals. Thank you.
Yeah. One is that there are particular topics that currently there's a lot of focus on those particular topics. One of them is climate change, and also the issue of the gender issues. And therefore, this is a very timely discussion. This is a topic that could attract a lot of attention, depending with how we are visualizing. Once we have the project, we've worked on the project to a certain level. What is the next move? As I said, in the previous, we have had teams that have implemented whatever they worked on. Some of them are like programs which they could train. Some are sensitization materials. Others are publications. Others are actually implementable business ideas and all that. So you could also visualize, as I said, very end, what happens once we have the paper ready. How do we utilize that end product? So please have that in mind. What I also want to encourage you to do is now to focus on what problem do we want to solve? What problem do we want to solve? That's when we get that clear, and the problem has also to be supported by existing content. The beauty is that this area, there's a lot of content which you can be able to refer. So Teresia, I think let's just focus now that we have identified an area, very important. That's actually what we normally require in week 1. Now, then we start focusing on what particular problem. This is the area, but what particular problem do we want to address? You might find there will be many, many problems on that particular field, but we want to zero down on one particular issue. So focus on the problem, the statement, and then also focus on what particular objectives do you want to achieve, even as we work on this particular objectives, particular project. And the objectives here are areas that we'll address. Yeah, maybe you want to identify gender-based violence challenges within the project, because the objectives must be responded in the project. So issues that we want to respond within the project. Maybe there are strategies to deal with gender-based violence issues. What are the strategies? Case studies of what has happened across the globe, and how we can be able to learn from what has been done in the previous. So let's focus on clearly defining the problem, and 2, coming up with the objectives, maximum 3 objectives, and then we can now be able to engage more. Look at what I shared, just to be able to also get some insight as well. Is it okay, Teresia?
Yeah, it's okay. We had come up also with objectives.
Yeah.
Maybe I can mention 3.
Okay.
Identify and analyze the various forms of gender-based violence. That we realized it is a very broad topic, and this now identifying and analyzing in domestic violence and sexual assault, harassment, and harmful cultural practices. That is one. And then the other one, we need to examine the underlying factors and the root cause. We understand where these gender-based violence is coming from. We have to get to know the root cause of it, that contribute to the responsibility of gender-based violence. And that includes the social norms, gender stereotypes, and power dynamics. And then the other one is to investigate we have to investigate. And then we know that when we are doing the investigation, there are short-term and long-term, physical, psychological, and socio-economic impacts. Just as you've said, this is something that we need to focus on and to see, because it's something that is existing and it's affecting our society, to see how we'll take it forward, and especially to the survivors, because we know even in the midst of all these gender-based, there are those who lose their lives. And then we had another one, explore the existing prevention programs and the interventions of how to fight GBV, and also to assess their effectiveness, and to develop evidence-based prevention strategies and recommendations to address GBV at individual, community, and society levels. This will help the concerned individuals. Once we identify, once we examine, investigate, explore, we'll be able to know how to handle those that are affected, and maybe be able to save lives and be able to save marriages in our society.
Wow, I like your objectives. The objectives are clear. They are smart. Nowadays, I see there's more of SGBV than just a GBV. Yeah, so there's that aspect of sexual and gender-based violence. You could try and look at the literature. I know at a certain point we had a focus on just the gender-based violence, but I think with the discussions, S was onboarded, but you could look at the literature just to guide you on that. For the objectives, I think the objectives are clear. Just see. Because of the limited time and we need to address all the objectives, see if you could, there were 4, you mentioned 4 of them, Teresia.
5.
5. So
Yes.
we need to collapse them to maximum 3. The last one of exploring, that's a very important one. That is what will give you, when it comes to the strategies and the interventions, that's really important for us. Now see any that you could collapse or any that you could move among the others. But all of them are really important and they are very clear. It's only that time, we have limited time and we cannot be able to address all of them. But from my end, any of the objectives that you have proposed fits this particular for this particular.
Okay.
Good. I think then we can conclude. So for you, the objectives, the task for the objectives is just to now see how to reduce them to 3, which is a good challenge. I think the difficult part was defining the objectives, and we have been able to define them. Finally, let's listen to team 3. Maureen, Peter, Sylvia, Susan, Tabitha, and Jen. Maureen, welcome.
Good evening, leaders.
Yes, good evening.
We were able to have a meeting and we agreed on the topic, impact of social stigma on teenage moms in rural and urban slum areas. The problem statement, in many rural and urban slum communities in Kenya, teenage pregnancies carry a social stigma because most of their pregnancies are unwanted and unplanned. It is happening in every social economic group where just between 14 to 18 years are affected. Studies have shown that in developing countries, early pregnancies are commonly associated with poverty and low education levels. Traumatic childhood environment, bad parenting, and lack of proper education are also leading causes behind teenage pregnancy. Media has also majorly influenced the early pregnancies. Teenage mothers are mostly likely to drop out of school, and due to lack of job skills, unemployment is a common problem among them, making the cycle to continue. Our research seeks to find solutions to this challenge in the community around us and possibly apply solutions to other areas with similar problems. Our objectives: to examine the impact of social stigma on teenage mothers, to empower teenage girls in vulnerable areas to avoid teenage pregnancies, build their self-esteem, and equip them with skills. And 3, to reduce stigma from community through outreach and psychosocial support encouragement. Those are our main objectives. Thank you.
Okay. Again, a very interesting topic. We had one of us who had a project that focused on empowering young moms at the university. Actually, she is implementing it. And I think I'll connect you with her. She's currently serving as a PS at Moranga County. That time she was a lecturer at Dedan Kimathi University. And I'm sure this will really touch her heart. So this is very, very important. These are what we are also calling the current issues that we can't close our eyes but we have to do something. We have to do something. There is a group that also did a topic on, again, the current issue that we are talking about, gayism and all that. That was very, very courageous. We really commended that group. Sometimes we shy from talking about these issues, yet they're affecting us. So, Maureen, I think this is quite okay. Maybe I could just ask you just re-echo your problem statement.
Okay. You want me to read it again? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. In many rural and urban slum communities in Kenya, teenage pregnancies carry a social stigma because of most of their pregnancies are unwanted and unplanned. It is happening in every social economic group where teenagers between 14 to 18 years are affected. Studies have shown that in developing countries, early pregnancies are commonly associated with poverty and low education levels. Traumatic childhood environment, bad parenting, lack of proper education are the leading causes behind the teenage pregnancy. Media is also a major influence on early pregnancy. Teenage mothers are most likely to drop out of school, and due to lack of job skills, unemployment is a common problem among them, leading to a continuous cycle. Our research seeks to find solutions to this challenge in the community around us and possibly apply to other areas.
Okay. And I'm sure you have references to that.
Yes.
Let's move on to the objectives, because we now need to align the objectives to the problem statement. Let's look at the objectives.
Okay, to examine the impact of social stigma on teenage mothers.
That the teenage mothers, again, that came up in the problem statement. That's okay.
Okay, to empower teenage girls in vulnerable areas to avoid teenage pregnancies, build their self-esteem, and equip them with life skills.
Okay, and then the third one?
To reduce stigma from the community through outreach and psychosocial support encouragement.
Okay. I would pick the first objective, because that is what we need to establish between this period.
Okay.
The other two objectives could come after or during the implementation.
Okay.
Yeah, but now as we undertake this study, what should come out in our paper?
Okay.
You see, the first one is coming out very well. That one of, is it examine?
Yeah, examine the impact of social stigma on teenage mothers.
Yeah, that's really coming out very well in the literature, whatever methodology we deploy, that will come out. Maybe the other one could be, now even as you look towards the empowerment, you could look probably explore on the initiatives initiatives that you could embrace towards the empowerment, so that we do maybe a case study just to be able to unpack what are some of the strategies that are out there that could also inform, in case you want to come up with an empowerment program. It's well informed from literature, from benchmarking, and all that. And I think we could also try to align with what Teresia, their objectives, that thinking, just the same thinking you have for your first objective, which is very, very clear, well articulated. So we just align ourselves towards that.
Okay.
I don't know if is quite okay now.
Yeah, I believe I have understood. My team members are also online. Peter, Susan, do you have any comments or any questions?
Well, Maureen, it is well stated. We are at least understanding. Thank you.
Yeah, Teresia, you could also post your objectives on the WhatsApp group. And then we just do some exchange, see what we could borrow from literature, what we could align with each other. And that's why now this discussion is always very important, because we are also able to pick from one another as well. Otherwise, I'm so encouraged. I think this is the first time we are starting with that kind of momentum. Really commendable. Having just 1 week and all of you have been able to meet. I think this is very, very positive. And we really commend you for that. Team leaders, Maureen, Teresia, and Dennis, this is commendable, and we encourage you to push through. So next week we'll also again get a little bit deeper. One of the tests will actually just to ensure that we keep working as a team to the very end, which will be very, very important. And remember, again, if you have an opportunity to connect as a team, explore and maximize the opportunity. Sometimes we also have emerging opportunities that are just amongst ourselves. So I want to pause there for tonight, and I really appreciate your commitment and your good start. And let's keep on pushing. If you want to share your work, just use the email. We'll look at it, and then we'll be able to give you feedback before we meet for the session. Next week, we might have a combined session on Thursday. So we might request you to join the Thursday class. We're hoping this will not inconvenience your program. It's part of networking as well, because it's just good to also connect with others in this platform. So we shall request you just to confirm, so that we can affirm that decision, so that we align. So we'll have cohort 33, cohort 34, and cohort 35 meeting next week on Thursday. Okay, maybe could we confirm that on the chat, or we could do a check now? I know you might need to check your diary and maybe confirm if Thursday is okay with you, or we could just do a quick check as we wind up. Derango, what is your take on Thursday? Okay, Harrison, I see confirmed. Thank you. Dirango, confirmed. Thank you. Okay. Maureen, confirmed. Thank you. Okay. I think this is good enough. So we'll have a combined session next week on Thursday, and we'll be looking at one of another important topic, the power of vision in leadership. So thank you so much, leaders. I want to wish you a blessed night. and let's keep up with the momentum. And could just say a prayer. Thank you, God, for the enablement, for the opportunity, for the discussions that we have had tonight. We give you glory and honor. We pray for a blessed night, even as we retire tonight. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Thank you and blessed night.
Good night to all.